What's up, fellas? I'm actually gonna have to do a quick audio test to make sure y'all can hear me because I do have a new mic set up. If y'all can hear me in the chat, y'all comment like I can hear you because I do have a new mic. Give me 1 sec to test this out. Okay, 1, 2, 3, testing, testing.
2, 3, testing, testing. 2, 3, 1.
All right, his purpose for me, I can. All right, that's much appreciated. It looks like y'all can hear me a little clearer than normal, so that's always a thumbs up. But I'd like to welcome y'all to the official Q&A for the month of February when it comes to Uber Eats. I know it's been a good minute, but here we are. We'll be talking about any questions y'all have about the advanced Uber Eats course, as well as this new cancellation policy that Uber apparently has. I'll wait until more people get in here because it's actually something that can really change the game. It's a good thing, okay? I don't want y'all to think it's changed for the negative. It actually has changed for the better. So we'll wait for a few more people to get in here. So if you can, share that link, let your friends, let your family know about it because we're going to have a nice discussion here. Let's see. For February. Okay. For those of y'all that are watching this on playback, I'll be sure to put the watch times on certain things that we talk about in the description. So if you do want to skip to a certain part, you'll be able to do that. Okay, let's see. Okay, looks like something strange is going on with the number count. Like hmm. Hopefully everything is going smooth. YouTube isn't having a problem with that link like it was before. But can y'all hear me clearly? Like, does the audio sound better than it normally does? And as normal, in the 5-minute mark, we'll go ahead and get into it. Okay. I'm seeing y'all are here. Like, I see your comments, but it's the number is showing pretty inaccurately. But whatever. But typical YouTube. Okay, it looks like we have more people than I'm seeing. So yeah, at the 5-minute mark, we'll officially get started. But for the moment, hey, why don't y'all share some Uber Eats stories that y'all have going? It has been a minute since we had a Q&A last. I trust that y'all are really inputting the knowledge that y'all learned in the advanced Uber Eats course. His purpose for me, chat count is all. Yeah, because it's showing a number lower than the amount of people I'm seeing commenting in the chat. But whatever. As long as everything is running smooth, y'all can hear me, y'all can see me. Hey, we're good to go. We're at the 4-minute mark, so a few more seconds, and we'll go ahead and jump into it. But let's get some noise started in the chat. As far as your Uber Eats runs go, what's new on the table? It's been the same old, same old. They've been going pretty smooth. At the 4-minute and 30-second mark, just a few more seconds, we'll hop into it. Let's see. All right. We'll go ahead and get into Uber's new cancellation policy. Now, y'all probably know I mentioned this in the first Uber Eats course, but You know how you want to keep your cancellation rate under 20%. Well, apparently that scenario has actually changed. See, when Uber switched over to this new app, I kind of suspected this would change, but I didn't have any concrete proof until like literally yesterday. So I had an issue where I needed to cancel an order. And by cancel order, I mean when I picked the food up, before I picked the food up, I needed to cancel. And it was a pretty stupid reason. Yes, I have my bags, always have a hot and cold bag. His purpose for me, I imagine you've been getting those nice tips if you handle it that way. But as far as the cancellation go, I actually needed to cancel because for some reason I entered a cellular dead zone. What I mean is I went there and the Uber app just went bonkers. So the restaurant, I told them something's going on. Do you mind if I log into your Wi-Fi just so I can see like the person, the name? And they said no. I said, well, then I'm gonna have to leave because I can't just sit here and just look around. So I had to drive out of that zone to call support where the order would pop back up. But I called them and told them, look, you got to cancel this because yeah, I can't do it. And they said they just told me to cancel it on my end with the normal steps. And then I specifically asked this question: will this negatively impact me in any way? Support said no, it will not, because you are not canceling the whole order, by meaning that you didn't pick the food up and cancel. By canceling it before you pick the food up, all that's doing is reassigning it to another driver. So to summarize, what that means is you can pretty much cancel any order before you pick the food up, and there's no real consequence. I suspected that was going to be the case because when they switched over to the new app, you can no longer see the address of the where you're picking up from. So in order for them to bring the scale back in balance, the only thing that would balance that is you can just cancel and there's no consequence. And that's exactly what they did. So I know a lot of people, those of y'all that have seen the Uber Eats course, y'all already know what to do. But a lot of new people say, well, we can't see where we're going. So, I mean, I accept it and it's a restaurant I want to go to. That's not fair. Well, I always just cancel. But this is them saying literally just cancel it. That's their balance for not showing us the restaurant. So you can accept it. You don't want it, cancel. There's no problem. I've been doing that for the past like 4 months. If I was to have a cancellation rate, it'd probably be at like 60%. So this is just verifying what I suspected all along. In the chat, what do y'all think about that? Is that going to change the way y'all do Uber Eats? People are delivering to me without a bag. It's not cool. His purpose for me. I 100% agree with you. I'm a Uber Eats customer myself. Like anytime I don't see that bag, I'm like, come on, dude. Or if it's a lady, come on, girl. I know a lot of people use the excuse that Uber doesn't provide it, but that's not an excuse. If they want to provide it, that's just them providing it. But you should get an insulated bag. I mean, come on. His purpose for me, it's also good to see that you're an Uber Eats customer. You probably know a little more about the Uber Eats experience than a lot of people because being a customer, it really shows both sides of the coin. So you can really tweak everything you're doing and you can understand things better once you see it from the customer perspective. But everyone in the chat, as of right now, it only counts as a cancel if you cancel after you pick the food up, and rightfully so. So you can accept the request, cancel, and then simply just move on to the next delivery. They literally tell me all that's doing is reassigning the order to another driver, which I already knew, but I actually got support to verify this. So what do y'all think about that? Is that good news? Is it bad news? Y'all all for it, or it's like, I don't really care. It's not gonna make that big a difference. Shannon P. How can I make $150 a day with Uber Eats? Well, Shannon, I'm gonna assume that you've seen all the. Have you done the Uber Eats course? And are you in the process of looking at the Ubereats Advanced course? It all depends on how many hours you want to work. You want to make sure you work the busiest hours and then apply the knowledge from the Ubereats courses. So you want to hit lunch rush, which is between 10 and 2. You want to hit dinner rush, which is between 5 and 10. And at 150, you might want to consider hitting the breakfast rush too, which is like between 6 and 9. But you could probably slide by without doing the breakfast rush. But you just really got to apply the information in the advanced Ubereats course. I mean, there are areas in your market that's going to give you the maximum payout. Where can I find it and how much? I've been driving for 2 months in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Shannon P. Well, Shannon, what you need to do, I'll let me actually find the link and I'll put it in the chat. But you want to look at part 3 and part 4 of the normal Ubereats course. And then next week, I'll be coming out with the advanced Ubereats, advanced Ubereats part 5, which is going to be Ubereats zones. You'll want to look at that. Then you can determine what spots are best in to hang out to make the maximum amount of money. Let me put it in the chat. Yeah, especially you're in my market. Our market is booming with Uber Eats, so yeah, definitely do that. But the key thing is really just to follow the information in the courses, because it's gonna make it so that you know everything your market has to offer. So you know where to go to hit like $18 an hour. It won't seem like random. His purpose for me, that's good news because previously they did count it against us. Right. I mean, truth be told, since it's set up this way, I don't care about them not showing the restaurant. Because even though you can always zoom in on the map, let's say this happens all the time. It's like 3 restaurants, they're just like clumped next to each other. So you zoom in, you don't know which one it is. Let's say one of those restaurants you don't go to, it's on your do not do business list for whatever reason. You accept the order and it's that restaurant, you just cancel, then move on. That makes up for not being able to see the restaurant. So I'm all for it. Let's see. Shannon in Plano, Allen, Frisco area. I'm not. I usually don't give like local advice, but you're in an area that has a lot of long streets, so that's actually a good thing. You're probably getting a lot of long orders. You gotta like go ahead and look at the Ubereats course. It's gonna show you how to break that information down. But you probably want to be looking for, let's say, a long trip, and afterwards like a short or a baby trip. I'm using terminology that's used in the course. Okay, so once you look at it, that'll start making sense. Let's see, allowing cancellation is just fair, Dom. I agree with you 100%. Because if they're not going to show the restaurant, that's the only thing they can do to balance the equation. I know the way it was previously set up, you could cancel, but yeah, if it got too high, that's when they started complaining. But you could also see the address of where it was going. So, what do you do when someone signs up with your invite code, but they don't do anything? I have 4 people who are ready to drive, but they have no trips. Okay, Auntie, I would say you want to give them some kind of incentive, or just make it known that you'll give them advice on your local market, because that's the biggest advantage they're going to have for signing up with your code over someone else. You should have the expertise on your local market, so you can tell them, hey, go to this spot to make money, this spot to make money, etc. What keeps people from getting on the road is too much ambiguity, too much unknown. So let's say their unknown factors up here. The closer you can get it to the bottom, which is, okay, I'm prepared and familiar with it, the more likely they are to get on the road. but everyone starts with it up here. I mean, it takes a certain type of individual to leap out into something completely new and be like 100% self-sufficient. This isn't a job. You're gonna get out there. You're literally on your own. Okay, it really takes a certain mindset to do that. So making yourself available and letting them know where to go and what to do is gonna increase their confidence in doing this so they can get out there. Once a person does a few trips, most people aren't used to making money on their own at any time they want. It's almost like a drug. It's like, whoa, that feels good. Let me go do it again. And I can just turn that app off whenever I want. But you got to get them to experience it first. Does that make sense, Auntie? Question, please. I received a ping for 2 deliveries for 1 resto. Does the second delivery see me drive to the first delivery? They might think, what the hell? Where is he going? Continue. Or do I become visible to the second person after the first order is delivered? I can't even message the second person to tell them they are second in line. Thanks. Dom, I actually did make a recent video on that. I'll put it in the chat. But to answer your question, the customer, they already applied for it. What I mean by apply for it is, let me see if I can pull it up on my phone actually. But basically, someone who's in that situation, they're getting a discount to share a carrier, in this case, you. So they're getting, let's say, $2 off, and Uber's letting them know, hey, the order's going to take longer, but because the carrier has multiple orders. So they already know that there's a chance they'll be that second person. I'm going to see if I might have deleted it, but I have a screenshot of the coupon of what the customer sees on their end. Or better yet, I'll just go ahead and link that video because that is concerning because Uber doesn't really make that known to us carriers because you already know the customer can see us once we press slide trips. And they may be wondering what, like you said, where the hell is this dude going? I'm hungry, etc. See. But you pretty much don't have anything to worry about that because they're receiving that discount. Let's see. Hold on. Video. 2 deliveries. Yeah, Dom, I literally made that like a few days ago. You're fine. But it is a good question. I will say, look at part 2, well, of the Ubereats Advanced course, because I cover back-to-back and stack trips. Sometimes they're actually not worth it. Like this time around, I rarely actually do a back-to-back, a stack trip. A stack trip is what you're talking about. You do 2 deliveries. The reason being is when you look at the payout, it's actually not that much. So you might not want to have your hands tied with 2 deliveries when you could be making more money just doing them one by one. I'll give you an example. You accept a stack trip, and the first trip is an apartment building at that. So you're going to the 30th floor to bring some food, okay? And you're wasting like 10 minutes going up the elevator and then bringing the food and going back down the elevator. It's like everyone on every floor is stopping to get in the elevator, so it's taking even longer and longer. Then you finally get back to the car, and now you have another order to deliver, but you're only getting paid like pennies for that stacked order. It might have been better just to go ahead and move on to another delivery, because for a stacked order, you don't get. I'm trying to remember what it is you don't get. You don't get the pickup fee, and yeah, basically you don't get the pickup fee. And it's not that much, but it actually does make a difference. Like a lot of times, it can be the difference between $2 or $3 difference for that hour. So you could have made $18 an hour, but you make 15 because you took a stack trip or 2. But they're kind of overvalued. So check out that video, and then you can just be aware when should you take it and when should you not. Because it looks appealing to take, but a lot of times it's actually not worth it. Another problem is, what if your second order takes you completely out of where you want to be? Like the first order is like a mile away, cool. Then the second order, it takes you 10 miles away to another neighborhood you don't want to be in. Then you either got to stay out there or you got to drive all the way back. So stack trips are a little overvalued. Since we're on the topic of stack trips, let's hear everyone's opinions on stack trips in the live chat. Do y'all favor them, or are you kind of you don't really like doing them anymore? Because you can always just not take it. Uber's gonna send it your way. You can just decline. Let's see. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not a fan of them, Shannon. And it looks like the Ubereats community in general is starting to kind of see that they're not all that. I think a few years ago, the pickup fee, they used to be more worth it because the per mile was more, but they messed with the numbers throughout the years. So it's like really spread out. Some is in the pickup fee, some is in the drop off fee, some is in the mileage, some is in the time. So when it's all split up like that, it's bringing the value of stack trips down. I like them when I'm on a quest, i.e., $20 for 20 trips. Auntie hit it on the nail. Like that's the scenario where stack trips shine because it will allow you to get more deliveries done in an hour, and those count towards quests. So, that's when it's something to consider. A lot of times. First weekend trying to Uber Eats this weekend and had my first stack trip last night. The whole trip, pickup plus two drop offs, cost me about 40 kms, all for 17 CAD. Lesson learned. Yeah. And sometimes it's best to actually experience something than you actually learn the lesson. Sometimes you hear it, other times you experience it. But either way, I think if enough drivers stop doing them all together, then they may have to start adding additional incentives to make them worth it. Do 3 or 4 stack trips during dinner time. Maybe you get an extra $5 or something. Just they can do something to make it just a little more worth it. Learning a lot from your videos in the process of finishing all the videos. Thanks so much. No problem, Dom. That's what I'm here for. Yeah. I mean, even though I do UberX and Uber Eats, I'm not naive. I do realize the bulk of my information is on Uber Eats. So I kind of pride myself as being that individual on YouTube that really brings it when it comes to Uber Eats because I know a lot of people on YouTube, and they just do so many apps and it's all like general knowledge, which that's fine. But my style is to pick one and literally master it. Then I can pull all the income I need out of that one app. And that's what I'm here for. Like, even when I was putting together the Uber Eats course for like 6 months, I just did Uber Eats. There was no UberX. I even took a break as far as my main career. I knew I had to focus on this to really pull all this stuff out and put it in a course form to learn the Uber Eats algorithm, etc. It's like a video I just released saying that I pretty much put in that work so no one else has to. You can just watch the videos and you learn the whole structure without having to go through like 6 months of trial and error. Ooh. Fair. Thank you for that. Appreciate it, Auntie. At the 30-minute mark, we'll switch gears and go into questions about the advanced Uber Eats course. But we got 5 minutes to that hits. Does anyone have any questions? Or also during the first weekend trying to Uber Eats, during my second hour, I actually slipped on a customer's pathway to his front door. They did not Clear the ice. The MCD bag got destroyed. Aloha. Well, I mean, that's rude of them. See, they have a little section where they can tell like drivers things. Obviously you've seen where they leave apartment numbers or directions. They could have mentioned, hey, you know what? There's this huge pack of ice on the way to our porch. Make sure you avoid it. Or better yet, they could have just destroyed it or threw some salt on it. Or I say that's 100% the customer's fault. Good grief, this cat's so inconsiderate. But uh, the bag got ripped. They don't have anyone to blame but themselves, as far as I'm concerned. If you pick up a delivery and it's a 14-minute drop off, had that happen today, and you cancel, how bad does it affect you? I tried looking for the video, but forgot which one you spoke about cancellations. Uh, and Sheeta Bundy, I think I'm pronouncing that right. We actually just talked about that, but here's how cancellation works. And support verified this, so I actually had a conversation with support. It only counts as a cancellation now if you cancel after you picked up the food. Now, if you cancel before you pick up the food, that's not seen as a cancel anymore in terms of like a cancellation rate. As far as what you're talking about is after you pick up the food, how does that affect you? Well, obviously, they don't like it. When you do it, you'll get like some automated message saying, too many cancellations can lead to deactivation. But I haven't actually seen or heard of any cases where anyone has gotten deactivated for canceling too much. Note that most people don't actually cancel afterwards after they pick the food up. So I'm actually not 100% sure like how many times you could do that before like some action is taken. So that's a question I don't have the answer for. I do know I forgot his name, but someone did comment pretty much saying that they do it all the time and like they get that automated message. But the reason they cancel is they see the drop off is like 8 miles, taking them out of their zone. They're like, I'm not doing this. They go back to the restaurant and give them the food and just cancel. um, it's not something I recommend because I can't tell you how many times you could do that before they have a problem. So I say do it at your own risk. I would say, should I have done something? Should I have reported that to Uber Eats? It's crazy in the north. All I could do was give a thumbs down. Um, Dom, is it always cold in your market? One thing you can do, you could leave direct feedback and type like on your phone what the problem was. Like when you give them a thumbs down, you just click other in addition to whatever else you were saying, and it'll ask the reason why. You could tell them, hey, a nice heads up on this big ass pack of ice would have helped me not slip and hurt, and you would have got your food without the rip in the bag. Like you can directly say that, and that feedback will be delivered to the customer. You got to choose other when you give them a thumbs down, and that option will pop up. That's what I personally would have done. I mean, it's not like they're straight up evil for not doing it. They probably just didn't think about it. So if you could just remind them of that, then if you get that customer again, maybe something will be done about it. And even if you don't get them again, well, it's just helping your fellow Uber Eats driver out because someone else could slip and fall, and that would suck. Some people, it's not even on their mind. I don't know why. I mean, they avoid that big patch of ice probably every day coming home from work, but they can't let their delivery driver know about it. It's just not on their mind. Let's see. Hmm. I'm in Toronto, Canada. Freezing rain the past weeks. Also got a request to bring to backdoor basement, but the pathways were all unpaved. Crazy customer, not even a warning. Oh gosh. Um, Dom, I would have to say there are probably places in your markets that are a little better than others. Oh, he says, sorry, I meant pathways unsalted and uncleared. Haha. I would say I would go to somewhere in your market that doesn't have those kind of obstacles. Only exception is if the people you're tipping to see the value of your hard work and they're tipping you like crazy. Like, hey, I appreciate the fact that you walked all like through all this unsalted ice to get us our food and didn't slip. I'm gonna give you a what's the equivalent in your currency to $10 or $15 tip. If they would do that, I keep doing it. But if they're not doing that, I try and find the places in your market that have the least amount of obstacles when things are happening like that. Thanks so much. That's true, and still learning a lot. Have a good Sunday. Appreciate you swinging by, Dom. Be safe out there and keep getting that money. And I go more into that in Uber Eats zones. There are certain places the money has to be worth it. Okay, if the money is not worth it, mm, I personally wouldn't go there. You determine what's worth it and what's not worth it. That's on a personal level, and that's actually a good segue into the second portion of this Q&A. So everyone, uh, who in the chat has taken a look at the advanced Uber Eats course? At least one video. If you have, type yes in the chat. Funny, those two dangerous orders were McDonald's and no tip, of course. I think I earned $6 Canadian, about $5 US. Cheers and thanks again. Yeah, it's all about learning. I mean, you find out what the amount of effort you're putting in and the amount of money you're getting, and if the two are in sync with each other, you keep doing it. If not, reevaluate it, and maybe go somewhere else. That's an issue with 1099 work. We're responsible for our own health insurance, accidents as far as bodily injuries, but we're covered for automobile property damage, but don't quote me on that. His purpose for me. Report everything to be on the safe side. I mean, he does have a point. And I'm not gonna. We've done that in the Q&A before, where we talked about the difference between contractor and employee, but um, just make sure you're covered, I suppose, with health insurance, etc. But I'm not gonna segue into that because that's not what the topic is. Let's see. All right. But in the chat, has anyone looked at a video of the advanced Uber Eats course yet? Let's see. Let's see. Dom, one thing I will do, the video we talked about that a little further. I'm not gonna type it in the chat because it takes a sec to find, but on the playback, I'll put the link in the description. Okay. Auntie Melanin, yes. Okay. Let's see. All right. So, do y'all have any questions or any feedback you'd like to give on the advanced Uber Eats course? Like, obviously, the course isn't finished yet, still a few more parts. But is there something that hasn't been addressed quite yet that you're like, hey, Elijah, can you comment on this or comment on that? That's something I've always been wondering about. I probably will have to make like a bonus video for this new cancellation policy. For those of y'all that are just joining us, apparently Uber Eats' new policy with cancellations is it doesn't count as a cancellation if you cancel before you pick the food up. Like if you accept a trip and need to cancel for whatever reason before you pick the food up, all it's doing is reassigning the order to another driver. It doesn't count as a cancellation. So apparently you can do that as many times as you want. And I can personally tell you, I've been doing it a lot for the past like 4 months. Since we can't see the restaurant, if I accidentally take something that I would normally not go to, I just cancel it. I'm not gonna put certain restaurants on blast, but there's certain restaurants that I don't go to because of wait time or unprofessional staff or whatever. And if for some reason I accidentally take a request from one of those restaurants, I cancel. Let's see. All right. Does anyone have any questions about Ubereats in general? I know one thing that's been getting pretty big, those minimum guarantees that happen every now and then. I've seen a cutback on like boosts and quests, but I see a bunch of those minimum guarantees floating out. Has anyone seen an increase in like it says guaranteed $6, guaranteed $8, guaranteed $10, etc. before you take it? And if so, have y'all been making good money off of those? Or have you not really even been seeing them? Like, I haven't been seeing them for the most part. I know in my market, they're becoming very, very, very like common. Let's see. And for those of y'all that are watching on playback, I'm actually looking for the video that I did on them so I can put it in the chat. Just give me 1 sec. Okay. Here we are. Guarantee orders. I see your comment. I'm gonna read it in just a sec. Give me a sec. Yes, the videos are working. Taking a look. I tend to run into these scenarios that are in the videos right after I watch them. Look, Auntie. I would say there's a good chance you've been bumping into them, but like once it's been put on your radar, it's like, oh wait, that was in the chorus. It does seem that way. Like, wait, I just learned that like 2 seconds ago. Now it's happening. It feels like that though. All right. All right, everyone. If y'all don't have any more questions, then we can actually close out a little early. I can close out at the 45-minute mark. What that tells me, if y'all don't have any questions, that means that y'all are soaking this stuff up like a sponge. That's good. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll close out a little early today. We won't go for a full hour. But before I do close out, does anyone have any additional questions about Uber Eats in general? It doesn't have to be the course, but just Uber Eats questions in general. Let's see. Oh. Lee Martin, I just joined, but we'll watch in a bit. I was stuck in the snow. Lee, is that a snowflake? Are you all right? Because I know that's snow. That's nothing to play with. I mean, in Texas, we don't really. Damn, -20. Yep, sure, all good. Lee, what market are you in? That's pretty cold. Yeah, in Texas, generally it's a can't call it a hot state, but it's kind of I guess random, but closer on the hot side. Uh-huh. Man, some of y'all are soldiers. Yeah, y'all getting out here in ice and sleet and snow. Like you're not the first person to say this in this chat. Man, the orders are coming nonstop, and it's been pretty crazy with the tipping to just because people feel bad about the weather. Lee. I was about to ask that. Like, I'm sure you're getting good tips, right? And people aren't that inconsiderate. You're out here doing this through like sleet and snow. I say like every order you need to be getting tipped. If I was to take a guess, honestly, oh my gosh, Lee, yeah. Give a shout out to Lee. He's a soldier. -30 tonight. Good gosh. Hello, fellow Canada. Be careful of the slippery ice, just like what happened to me. Haha. Yeah, that brings up a good point. Like everyone, just make sure you're safe out there. Like you move with a purpose, but safety comes first, all right? So like don't be running or anything like that because even just under normal conditions, not necessarily ice, but normal conditions, it's not worth hurting yourself. Like every time I go up apartment stairs, it could be 104 degrees. I still go up them cautiously. Because like his purpose for me pointed out, like this isn't a job. As far as health insurance and all that goes, we take care of ourselves. So if you get hurt on duty, it's your responsibility. So take that with a grain of salt and do this with a level of cautiousness. Haha, yep. I was in touch with Uber dude showing him she shots last week. I'm not I don't fully understand that statement. It's the 20-minute prep every day. That's the killer. Going slow, always driving 20 under the speed limit in these conditions. Auntie Melanin, I will go out when there's a few flurries, but I'm not gonna freeze my I'll just say but freeze my butt off to deliver someone's sandwich. Great job, Lee. Well, Auntie, delivering under those conditions does have its rewards. I've maybe not snow, but extremely cold, I've done before. You get tipped almost on every delivery. So it does have its rewards. So as we're approaching the 45-minute mark, does anyone have any other questions about Uber Eats? You should also know that goes to the other extreme too. If it's 104 degrees, a lot of times you will get a lot of orders too and some decent tips. Like any extreme weather condition, you tend to get like more trips and more tips in my experience. That's something to keep in mind too. So if you're willing to be a soldier, it does have some benefits. I stick to the core. The suburban is where it's bad and never plowed. Oh, uh, that's a different experience. At least from in America. Usually it's the other way around. Like the suburbs would be the place to kind of be around the bad weather, but avoid the cities. Hmm. Neo can't complain. I'm in Texas. Same here. Texas weather is pretty bipolar, but we don't get no -20. But shoot, yeah, we'll go ahead and close out early. And I want to thank y'all for attending the Ubereats Q A of February. Make sure you be safe out there. Ubereats own. During rainy weather, I'll get more pizza orders. Uh, I guess some people have it as a ritual, Auntie, to order pizza during rainy weather. I don't know if that's universal for every market, but whatever. But thanks for attending, y'all. Make sure to keep your eyes out for the next Uber Eats Part 5, which is going to be dropping next weekend at Sunday. It's going to be Uber Eats Zones. And if you haven't done so, I actually have started a third YouTube channel. It's called EB Reviews, where I talk about TV shows like Flash, Arrow, video games, and old school animes. So if any of that interests, click in the card that's appearing at the top right now if it's on playback. If not, in the description, and y'all find value in that. But this Elijah, I'm gonna go ahead and close it out. Like I said, thanks for attending, and I'll catch y'all in the next Q&A. Peace out.